In this video, we are going to convert string to integer. Hello, I'm Jagan from growwithdata. I am posting this video to share my knowledge in Python language with you. If this assists you in interview preparation anyways, I will be happy. Let's see a sample input data and we can talk about the question in detail. If you are given a string like str equal to minus 42, if you are asked to convert this to a integer, we can just say int of str, right? So if we can do it so simply, so what is special about this question? Okay, so we are going to talk about few conditions. The first one is there might be leading or trailing white spaces. Okay, leading and trailing white spaces. Okay, that means instead of saying 42, you might have white space in the beginning or at the end. So these things integer conversion will take care, right? So even if there is space, if you convert that to an integer, it will take care. Good. And the second one is there might be plus or minus sign, right? That means if you have symbol like this, instead of 42 you might have minus 42. So integer conversion will take care of this also. If you have plus 42, it will take care. So this is also simple. The third one is the input string might be empty. Okay, so instead of having an integer, it might be a space. So if that is the case, the integer conversion is going to be a trouble. It can't convert a blank space or a null value. Okay, so the fourth one, instead of plus and minus in the beginning, there might be continuous plus and minus. That means some invalid inputs. So instead of saying plus 42, right, it works. But if say plus and minus 42, the integer conversion is not going to work. So that's the fourth one. The fifth one is instead of a whole number, that might be a decimal, like 3.1415. So if that is the case, then we have to convert that to 3. So you have to ignore the decimals. So 3.14 we can't convert directly to a whole number, right? So the integer conversion is not going to work. The sixth one is along with the numbers there might be characters. So instead of 4193, it might have 4193 with words. So this one we can't directly convert to an integer, right? So it's going to throw an error. And the sixth one is whatever be the input number is, it should fall under the interval minus 2 power 31 to 2 power 31 minus 1. So the return value should be within this interval. If it's beyond that interval, better you return 0. Okay. So these are the 7 criteria given to us. So we have to write a code to address all this. Let's see how to do that. So first we can take an ideal scenario. Our input string is a positive integer. Okay, str. As usual, we create a function grow with data, right? So we just have a result as a list, and then we loop in the in range length of str if the first character dot is digit. So is digit will return true or false if the character or that element is a integer or, not, or decimal or not. So not decimal, like digit or not, it's a number, right? If it's not a number, it returns false. If it's a number, it returns true. So we just say if it's a digit, then we just append that particular character to the result. So when you return this, we simply convert that to an integer, and then we just do a join of the list, and it's done. Grow with data str. So it will convert. Here first thing is digit. Let's check how this works. If you say a equal to 34, a dot is digit, sorry, 34. So a dot is digit is going to be true. If you say it's a D, then it's going to return false. Okay. The second one is this join part of it. If I have a list a equal to a list which says GROW, we are missing a quotes. So if it's grow and I just say dot join a, right, it will just add all the elements with a in between join as null, nothing. So it just, if I say hyphen, so after every element it will add a hyphen to it and will just join. Okay, any character you give within, it will just add that one. So if you give blank, you can just create the list as a string. So this is what the two joins and is digit are doing it. If you don't want to have a list, if you just want to have a normal integer, right, then you can just put 0 here. Instead of append, we can just say result equal to result into 10. That means you are adding one decimal place, and then you just convert that character to a integer, and when you return, you can simply say result, right. So instead of a list, you can directly assign an integer, and then this one we did in our previous exercise also. We just increase the decimal place, and then you can add the new character to it. So if the result is going to be 5, so it's going to see 5 into 10 is 50, plus if this is 1, just add 1 to it. So 5 becomes 51 here. So every time the new integer will be added in the ones place. Okay. So this is much easier than the list. So we can have this as a format. Okay. So this will address the ideal scenario where the input is going to be a positive number. If it's a negative number, right? So negative number, what will you do? So for example, we can just have, we can add to it. Okay, minus 42. So what should we change? First, what you do is we just have a variable called sign equal to 1. Okay, we can just keep that. First, we just say if str of 0, the input of first character, in, if it's a minus sign, right, or a plus sign, right. If the first character is any of this, plus or minus, then if str of 0 equal to minus, then the sign is going to be minus 1, okay, equal to minus 1. And then what you are doing is we are going to ignore the first character str from 1. Okay. So here what happens, if the first character is going to be a sign, plus or minus, right? Then if it's a minus, we assign a negative sign to that variable, and then we are going to take from the second position and then we loop in. So the negative will be taken care. And when you return that value, we just say result into the sign. If it is a negative one, then we will convert 42 and then you do minus 1. So it will result in minus 42. If it is a plus, then the sign equal to 1. So 42 into 1 is going to be 42, right? So if it's a negative symbol, then we are going to address that using this if condition. Okay. Now the third one, what if there is a lead and a trail space, right? So we might have empty one is the edge case, we can address this. We have leading and the trailing white space. Let's see how to address that. Here I am going to introduce a function called strip. If there is a space here, a dot strit. So strip, what will do is it will remove the white spaces at the beginning and the end of that word. So if I say grow and I have only the leading space, right, it will just clear that. If I have the trailing space, it will clear that. So strip will help us to remove the leading and the trailing white spaces. So what we do, we just say str equal to str dot strip. Okay. So if you have spaces at the end, that will be taken care. Okay. The next one is the character part. What if the input is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 with words? Okay. Now if you have numbers other than words, what should we do? Now we are coming here, we are looping in, we just say if str dot is digit, right? Before that we say if not str dot is digit, then it is a break. Okay. So all that negative signs and the space is all good. After cleaning up the space and the negative sign, the signs, we just come here and we see if there is a character which is not a digit, then you just break the loop. Break means it just breaks the for loop and then it just goes to the result. Okay. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it just comes here. There is no sign, so there is no point of doing all this. So it comes, takes the first character 1, yes, it comes here, it do the results, 2, 3, 4 works, and then there is a space and then comes for W. This is not a digit, so it just breaks. So the result will have 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, fine. The last one is, what if there is a interval which has to be within minus 2.31, right? So we have to find this. Before that, let's talk about the edge cases. We have empty string and we have only plus or we have only minus, all that, right? So how to address those kind of things? So once you have the strip, you can just have another if condition. We say if length of the string is less than 1, that will clear up the empty string, or str equal to minus, that means there's only minus, or str equal to plus. If it's only plus, then you return 0. Okay. So if the input is going to be only the minus part, then it directly returns 0 based on this condition. Okay. Plus or minus is the only input, then that will be taken care. Okay. So these are the edge cases we talked about. So the only remaining part is, what if it's beyond the interval. So when we are returning the value, we just calculate all this and we are returning here, right? So we are going to check if this value is within the interval or not. So it's basically it's a if condition, right? We just say if the result dot sign is less than -2 into 31, or the result into sign is greater than 2 into 31 minus 1, right? No need for parenthesis, I just putting it. If it's less than this or greater than this, then the return value is going to be 0. Else you simply return the sign value. Okay. If the input is going to be a bigger number, like -9, okay, put this longer number 9127, that means it's going to return 0. You can just print the value here. So the result is going to be 9127, and then it checks if it's within this interval. Okay, so when you say 2 power 31 minus 1 is only this much, 2.1 billion. So this one is more than that. If it's more than that, then we return 0. So if condition works. So this all looks good. But if there is an extra condition saying that if this is within the interval, instead of returning 0, you return the minimum value as this or the maximum value as this. Like this is a bigger number, instead of 0, you just return this one. If it is a negative number, so instead of 0, you return this. Then what will you do with the return statement? The same part of it, but a small change. We just say return. First thing is you find the minimum of the result into the sign and 2 power 31 minus 1, 31. So here what happens, if it's a positive number, you check what is the result or 2 power 31 minus 1, whichever is the minimum, right? You get that value. If this is not positive, right, if this is going to be negative, return into sign is going to be negative, then the minimum value is going to be negative, right? That means if this is minus 999, it's not going to catch this. Minus 9 will be the result. So what will you do? You just say the max of minus 2 power 31 and this value, whichever is max, you return it. So you will find the minimum value of the limit, and then it gets the minimum value minus 91, and then it find the max value out of that. Okay, so it brings out. So for our practice purpose, if you want to add more test cases, then we can use our assert function and then we check. So if the maximum value, if the negative value is minus 91, then you have to return minus 2 into 31. If it's a positive value, the maximum interval is 2 into 31. Okay. Oh, you have print statement here. It screws up this. Okay. So it's going to clear all this. If 42, then it's 42. If plus or minus, that means 0. There is a space, then you put only 42. If integer with a word, put the integer. If the words then integer, return 0. The limit problem, space, minus, plus, and only the plus sign, plus and minus 2 is already here. Okay, so it was a duplicated one. 3.14, you return only 3, and if it's beyond the interval, then you put only this. 0.1, no integer, so 0. So all these test cases will be addressed with this. Hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.